Welcome to RupEng News live on Channel Live.
Hello there, very good evening indeed. I'm Sharma Screenless.
And I'm Vision Boss. First take a look at the headlines. In Uganda, the president said that Sri Lankan government's vision is to take facilities in the town to the village. Massive crowds converged in Colombo against conspirators attempting to destabilize the country. Sri Lanka is in the forefront among the countries providing electricity for 24 hours in the South Asian region. 1,000 persons passed in the Dhamma teaching examination are to be recruited for the teacher service. Russia expels a US diplomat in spy recruitment scandal.
On to the stories now. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that his vision for New Sri Lanka is the strong development connection between the village and town. He noted that his intention is to take facilities in the town to villages and to bring the environment and good behavioral system in the village to the town. The president made this disclosure when he delivered the guest lecture at the Commonwealth Local Government Conference yesterday. This report has been filed by RupEng-News correspondent Mohan Karnaratna, who is now in Kampala, Uganda, to cover the president's visit. The three-day Commonwealth Local Government Conference was inaugurated last night at the Victoria Conference Hall in Kampala, Uganda. The theme was the local administration for development. The inauguration ceremony was held with the participation of the representatives of the 40 Commonwealth countries under the patronage of the Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. Addressing the delegates, the President noted that this year's theme is to opportune the whole world.
The concept of local government has existed in Sri Lanka from ancient times. The great chronicle, the Mahavansa, describing the life and times of our people, trace back the local government systems to the reign of King Pandukabya in the 4th century BC, during which period Anuradhapura in the north central province was established as the first capital of Sri Lanka. Local government has not only been practical but also effective in taking development directly to the people. Therefore, it is sustainable and helps to reduce poverty and provides a variety of vital public services. I am of the view that certain level of state intervention is also necessary in order to ensure equitable distribution of benefits and social inclusivity. Local government was among the first targets of terrorism. The first victim of terror, we recall, was the mayor of Jaffna in the north. I wish to remember here all the local government leaders who were the victims of terror. With the defeat of terrorism in 2009, our first priority was to restore local government. My government refocused attention on economic growth, and regarding the splendor of the past, when my country was known as a paradise isle, the twin pillars of durable peace and political stability have opened doors for Sri Lanka to move forward on accelerated economic and social development.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni and other speakers lauded Sri Lanka's attempts to directly apply this year's Commonwealth Local Government Conference theme of local government for development.
Of the Aberdeen principles.
First of all, I thank you for agreeing to hold your conference here in Uganda. You are most welcome. You did us a great honor to come here and hold such a big meeting in Uganda. I salute the people of Sri Lanka for achieving peace after many years of suffering from terrorism. We are looking forward to attending the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Colombo in November.
That Uganda is
Foreign Minister Professor G.A. Pires, Local Government Minister A.L.M. Apaula, MP Sajin Diwas Gunawardena and Presidential Secretary Lalitha Yatunga were among the delegates attended the conference.
Massive crowds converged in Colombo have pledged to protect the freedom gained defeating various conspiracies to destabilize the country, even at the risks of their lives. They vowed that they will never ever allow the unsuccessful attempts aimed at toppling the government jointly by the bankrupt political parties and non-governmental organizations. A pro-government protest march jointly organized by the working people, trade unions and various organizations began near the Lake House roundabout in Colombo at around 1 p.m. today. Thousands of people who converged in Colombo from 4 corners in the island have joined the march when it was proceeding. The demonstrators noted that they extended their support to the government headed by President Mahinda Rajapaksa to protect the freedom gained after defeating terrorism and to safeguard the sovereignty and of the territorial integrity of the motherland, even at the risks of their lives. They have accused the bankrupt political parties and non-governmental organizations for making an unsuccessful attempt to topple the government. Certain political parties of the opposition who were defeated in previous elections are engaged in an attempt to destabilize the country, highlighting a power crisis. The government reiterates that 50% of the consumers will not be affected by the amended power tariffs. Demonstrators also accused certain trade unions with secret agendas and NGOs depending from foreign aid for engaging in an unsuccessful attempt to destabilize the country. They vehemently condemned their disruptive attempts aimed at sabotaging the forward march of the country. They further noted that these groups were silent in the face of brutal killings of infants, pregnant mothers and Buddhist priests by Tiger terrorists carrying out bomb attacks at the places of religious worships and economic nerve centers. Thousands of demonstrators in the march arrived at Fort Railway Station at around 3 p.m. today. Several people aired their views to RupEng-News-15-May. Foreign powers and local dollar mongers want to create an administration line to the west through a bloodbath again. We will never allow to form such an administration in the motherland. This is the correct reply for comrades Lal Kanta and Vasanta who were trying to destabilize the country. The country is moving towards a rapid development and the imperialist powers as well as capitalist groups were trying to mobilize masses. Therefore, all working people should join hands to protect the country from them. Massive crowds have stepped into the correct protect path of the country. Several ministers and MPs have also joined the march near the Fort Railway Station. Minister Vijit Vijayabuni-Desoisa said that the patriotic people have taken the streets today to defeat international conspiracies. The UMP and the NGO groups took to the streets today. Therefore, the patriotic people have organized themselves to repress such unpatriotic groups. Minister Kumar Varghama noted that these people know that the president cannot be defeated in an election. That is why they are trying to topple the government through these conspiracies. We will never allow them to achieve their petty political objectives. A protest march with the participation of a group of conspirators to destabilize the country was proceeding towards the fort. At that time, the organizers of the pro-government march took measures to end their demonstration in order to prevent a clash with the conspirators. Demonstrators ended their march in a peaceful manner without creating any inconvenience for the people who were returning to their homes after duty.
The Secretary of the Lanka Workers' Trade Union Central Council Somavira Chandrasiri says that the opposition protest demonstration was aimed at fulfilling the need of the foreign powers trying to divide the country. He said that thousands of people participated in the march organized against it. He said that the march, which began from Lake House roundabout, was very successful. People in large numbers participated in it, taking leave from their workplaces. They have expressed their solidarity to the government's program. They also displayed their intention of safeguarding the motherland and working place. The protest march, jointly organized by several non-governmental organizations and the trade unions to destabilize the country, highlighting a power crisis, ended unsuccessfully. People had to face severe difficulties due to their conspiratorial acts during the closing time of offices. The protest march was organized by several opposition political parties such as UMP and JVP, as well as some non-governmental organizations. It was highly unsuccessful due to the lack of people's participation as expected by them. Many protest demonstrators who participated at the beginning of the march were not seen when the march was nearing the Colombo fort. People who came to Colombo to attend the march, organized by spending a large sum of money of non-governmental organizations, had changed their decision to participate when they came to know that it was a conspiracy. Organizers have made an unsuccessful attempt to show a mammoth crowd in their march using the closing time of Colombo offices. There was heavy traffic congestion on several roads in Colombo. People who were returning to their homes after duty had to wait on roads for several hours due to this protest march.
Minister Pavitra Devi Vanyarachi has accused conspiratorial groups for making attempts to gain petty political objectives, highlighting the power crisis. She made this accusation when she participated at the Prabhata program telecast over RupEng yesterday. Electricity tariff relief announced by the people and the President on the May Day will come into effect from the 20th of April. 50% of the population will get this relief. According to the new formula, the power tariff up to 60 units will not be increased whatsoever. The monthly electricity bill of 142 rupees and 50 cents levied from the consumers using up to 30 units will be supplied with electricity at the same rate. The electricity bill of 371 rupees and 85 cents levied from consumers using up to 61 units from 31 units will not be changed. Accordingly, 50% of the country's population will not be affected due to the electricity tariff revision. The Ceylon Electricity Board has taken measures to reduce the electricity bill of consumers using 61 to 180 units by 10 to 12%. If consumers using over 90 units are used not less than 95 units in certain months, then their electricity bill will be adjusted to 90 units. The full adjustment charge for consumers using up to 180 units has been reduced by 25%. The full adjustment charge for other groups has also been reduced by 10 to 5% respectively. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi said that levying and laying of power lines is being halted, claiming that workers engaged in this task were following a trade union action. Some people were trying to take political advantage, highlighting the electricity tariff hike. International conspiracies were behind all these activities. They are using the power crisis as a tool. Such attempts will not be allowed, she said, adding that these people were acting in a false drama, claiming that it was an island-wide strike. She pointed out that this political culture is not suitable for the country.
In other stories, the 240 million rupees Sri Lanka Tourist Hotel Management Institute was opened in Kundasale, Kandy today under the patronage of Minister Basa Rajapaksa. The Japanese government has provided financial assistance to set up the Hotel Management Institute. It consists of a fully fledged office complex, modern kitchen, lecture halls, classrooms, a library, computer laboratory, open-air theatre and a 5 luxury room for tourists. The institute was set up to train human resources needed for hospitality industry. Addressing the gathering, Minister Basa Rajapaksa has pledged to launch training courses on industries identical for Kandy area. He added that the government is prepared to provide rupees 1 billion for any investor who is investing $1 billion of rupees for any field, providing services for tourists not only to the tourism industry and the tourism hotel industry. This additional money will not be recovered from them.
නැවත නොගෙවන මුදල් ආධාරයක් දෙන්න අපි සූදානම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
The Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Nobuhito Hobo, and several people's representatives were present.
Details of a further unsuccessful attempt to bring disrepute to Sri Lanka by British TV channel, Channel 4, have been revealed. This has come to light when the newest video documentary film of Channel 4 was screened in the European Parliamentary premises recently. The head of the mission of Sri Lanka to the European Union, PM Amza, attended the screening of the documentary film jointly organized by the Amnesty International, Human Rights Watchdog and International Crisis Group. Ambassador Amsa noted that the Channel 4 has made serious mistakes by misinterpreting what the witnesses have said in Tamil to suit the Channel 4 agenda. The ambassador pointed out that in the Killing Fields documentary, the civilians who spoke in Tamil at no stage stated that the attacks were carried out specifically by the Sri Lankan army. He proved that with the facts that the allegations leveled by Channel 4 against Sri Lanka army for assassinating Tiger leader Velupillai Prabhakaran's son Malachandran were baseless. Ambassador Amsa challenged the director and the producer of the documentary, Kalab Bakre, to submit the original information which was used as the basis for the documentary. He added that as a native Tamil speaker, he could provide ample evidence to prove that Channel 4 indeed had a sinister motive to discredit Sri Lanka with the support of the pro-LTT diaspora.
Well, the government decides to pay salary arrears to all teachers of national schools and Pirivenas in the island. Education Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that he has issued a directive to authorities to make payments tomorrow. A sum of 35 billion rupees has been provided for this purpose. This was disclosed by Minister Bandula Gunawardena at a media conference held at his ministry yesterday. He revealed a decision has been taken to recruit 1,000 persons who have passed the GCE Advanced Level Examination along with the Dhamma Teachers Examination to teacher service. He added that a gazette notification will be issued for this purpose next week. Accordingly, candidates who pass the GCE Advanced Level Examination and the Buddha Dhamma Teachers Examination with 5 years experience in teaching in Dhamma schools will be recruited to schools to fill vacancies after conducting a special examination by the National Education Department, he said.
Sri Lanka Singh Regiment troops currently serving in Lebanon have been honoured with the presentation of UN medals to them as their period of service is nearing completion. The customary UN medal parade, the prestigious military ceremony, was held to recognize the exemplary contribution made by any specific contingent to maintain law and order in Lebanon. The 5th Sri Lankan contingent deployed at Nakuba-based UNIFIL headquarters in Lebanon for security roles is comprised of 10 officers and 140 other ranks of the Sri Lanka Singh Regiment. The recent UN medal awarding ceremony headed by Major General Paulo Serra, Lebanon-based force commander, took place with the participation of Major General Boniface Pereira, Colonel of the regiment, Sri Lanka Singh Regiment, as a guest of honour representing the commander of the army.
An experiment conducted by the Nara Institute revealed that the reason for the deaths of fish and marine species at the Aktidia lake was the mixing of poisonous chemical with water. Sri Lankan lizards such as salvators were among those killed in water poisoning. Environmentalists said that this situation will become dangerous for several other marine species. The Nara Institute disclosed that there were 3 reasons for the deaths of fish in the lake. They are the reduction in the percentage of oxygen in water or the mixing of algae or poisonous chemicals with water. It has been confirmed after testing water samples in the lake and surrounding water resources that a poisonous chemical was mixed with water. Nara says that the report on the experiment carried out by them was handed over to the Mount Lavinia police to take legal action against those who were responsible for this situation.
1st of June has been declared as the day for protecting the right of voting of all the citizens. This was stated by the Commissioner of Elections, Mahinda Deshapriya, at the media conference held at the Election Secretariat in Colombo yesterday. The Election Commissioner said that the day of protecting the rights of voting will be commemorated with the participation of the people in all districts. Meetings to create awareness among the people will be held on the 30th and 31st of May this year. People's marches and awareness programs will be conducted on the 1st of June. The census of voters will be completed on the 15th of July. This was announced by the Election Secretariat.
The Health Ministry takes measures to devise a legal framework for constructing buildings and houses without gutters. The aim is to prevent the breeding of dengue mosquitoes in gutters. Experiments conducted by scientists revealed that the main reason for the breeding of dengue mosquitoes in the urban areas was water stagnated in the gutters. It is difficult to observe such places. As a solution, the government has focused attention to encourage people to construct houses and buildings without gutters. The Secretary of the Health Ministry said that his ministry taken measures to amend the acts providing the legal provisions for this purpose.
Now let's move on to the trading details of the Colombo Stock Exchange.
The U.S. ambassador to Russia met foreign ministry officials in Moscow to discuss the case of a U.S. diplomat accused of trying to recruit a Russian agent. Michael McFaul was summoned after Russia said yesterday that it had detained Ryan Fogel for provocative actions. Mr. Fogel was declared persona non grata and told to leave the country. Mr. Fogel is said to be a CIA agent who worked as the third political secretary at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. The U.S. State Department confirmed the arrest. A spokesman for Russian president said that the incident did not contribute to the strengthening mutual trust between Russia and the U.S. Correspondents say that the incident is unlikely to have any long-term political consequences. The last major espionage case involving the two countries took place in the year 2010 when 10 people pleaded guilty to spying on the U.S. for Russia. With that, we wrap up today's bulletin of RupEng News. Thanks a lot for joining us. Goodbye.